Are we on?
We're now live.
We're now live. Just tell Lee that we're on now. There we go. We got anyone joining us yet?
That requires us to be able to look at things while we're on at the same time.
It does, doesn't it? So shall we
Lee's
introduce Cath? Lee, hi, Ubi.
There we go.
Oh, we've got a few coming on now. We've got Cath with us from, she used to be on Most Haunted. She actually came on an investigation with us on Saturday, which was very interesting.
It was.
I am just gonna. So, do you want me to start with some questions?
Yes, yeah.
I would like to know, what's the most scariest place that you've ever been to?
Pendle Hill, definitely.
Why? What happened?
Why? That's when it's a horrible place anyway. The stories that with the witches, but that's probably where I had my worst experience. And then all the crew ended up collapsing on one of the live shows, and then we went somewhere else where the witches were involved in this pub, and I publicly felt like I'd wet myself because I'd smelt this really strong smell of sulphur, and Yvette was just about to go live. You know, it's like 5, 4, 3, and I went, "What's that smell?" And everybody was like, "Shut up," because we were live. And I was like, "Oh, what is that smell?" And I literally felt hundreds of hands banging on me everywhere. They were hitting me, and I threw myself under the table, and I lifted the table up, and I literally just crawled out. And I felt like I'd probably wet myself. It was so embarrassing. And they got me out, and it was like, what the hell had happened? And then they carried on, like, best carry on, and they sat me in front of a webcam, and then I just started laughing. It was like a wave that came over me, and I was just hysterically laughing. And Kieran said that, you know, he knew that was what had happened to me was real. Because it's some kind of an adrenaline thing that came, you know, like your body kind of kicks in, and for a long time, every time I heard anything to do with Pendle Hill, because there were horrible stories, and it really did affect me. I couldn't even say the name of these certain witches that caused these boiled children and horrible things. That was my scariest place. I mean, I'm in Transylvania, and but that one always stands out more because of the continuous thing that made me scary every time I think about it.
It sounds horrific.
Yeah. Would you go back?
I have thought about going back, but for a long time I couldn't even say Charlie or Preston or all that way. It was like, or Pendle. I don't know. I would go back with somebody, you know, like somebody like David Wells, or someone that I know that would definitely protect me, you know, and I'd be prepared mentally as well to go. But I suppose, I would like to go back just to see what it was like, because there's I don't know if you guys have been there. There's a house on a hill, and they've taken all the doors off the house, because all they heard was these banging and banging and banging of the doors. And while we were there, Yvette, she had some transition when she and they never showed it. A lot of people, they don't really know this, but they never actually showed it on the TV, because it was just horrific. Yvette was something happened to her. It was horrible. It was the most frightening thing ever. This was in this farm. I can't get this right. In this farmhouse it was. And she was either taken over or it was something. But when she came, we could hear it downstairs. And when she come down, she was a mess. And makeup was just all over her face. And it was that horrific. They just never showed it. And I often wonder, you know, it was that bad. It's horrible. Stu was screaming. So, I had a lot of things in Pendle that are... So maybe, would I go back? Yeah, maybe. Maybe I don't know.
Do you consider yourself to be quite sensitive then, if you're picking up on all these sorts of things?
I think well, because I was always interested in it, and we used to do a lot of meditation and stuff. When David joined us, it was because obviously we were going in places that were really, the stories were horrendous, and I'm there all day, and we know what's happened. Like kids are being put in walls and murdered and whatever. So I think that can make you a bit sensitive, can't it, sometimes? But yeah, I think you I think you guys know yourself, don't you? When you go into a room, you can feel a room, can't you? If it's a happy room, there's an atmosphere. So I think you just go with the flow. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but over time, 15 years of doing Most Haunted, we've got to get some kind of a sensitive feeling, maybe.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What was the funniest experience with Most Haunted, asks Lee.
The funniest experience. Well, a lot of people say, and I didn't know, that when I dropped a torch. I can't remember where we were. It was winter, and I had absolutely loads of layers on. I always remember I think it was like October time, and I dropped the torch. It was pitch black, and they made me say, "Stay in front of that camera, don't move." And I dropped the torch, and I couldn't find it, and I was looking everywhere. And I always remember watching that back, and it was the funniest time. But then I don't know if you remember, we did me, Leslie, and Yvette. We went to when we was in Italy, and we did some funny things there. I can't remember. We had just like laughing fits. But when you're scared, I think does anybody else just starts laughing or
it's close to hysteria.
Yeah, especially when you're all holding yourself so tight and somebody goes like that, and it's like we all burst out, which does happen, doesn't it? Does happen. So yeah, so probably many funny things. I can't. That's the only thing I can think of at the minute.
Cool. So who was your favourite person to work with the show, and why?
Oh gosh. We all used to have a laugh, we different, I suppose. I don't know. Me and Stuart used to travel up there a lot together because we lived near each other, and then we used to go and do Kerrang, the radio station on a Friday night. So I spent a lot of time with Carl, Yvette, and Stuart. Yeah, they all had different, they're all.
Yeah.
All.
Do you miss
favorite.
it?
I do miss it. Yeah, that's why I enjoyed going with you guys. Even though I was extremely tired because I've been moving house for the last 2 days. So on the next one, just watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be all right.
I'm trying to figure out how to share this. Anyone got any technology?
So someone said, "How you been on a few with Carl and Stu, the nice guys?"
Say that again. You've been.
Yeah, someone just put they think Carl and Stu are nice guys.
Oh, I can't hear you. Hang on,
I'm assuming they must have been on like the events then, maybe.
Do you know what? I think this phone keeps going funny. Say that again.
I said a few people have said they think Carl and Stu are nice guys.
Yeah, oh God, they are. They're funny. Yeah, we like to have a laugh. They are funny. We all get on. They are funny. Everybody's got their own little character, haven't they? That's what made the show.
Transylvania always intrigues me. It's one of them places that I would love to go.
Right.
Can you tell me what it was like?
Transylvania was really interesting. It was. I'm trying to get out of the way. It was. I don't think, apart from the ghost hunting there, but because I was a little one, they used to put me in the boot. I mean, that's not the ghost thing, but we always used to get. They were trying to bribe us to, if we did anything wrong, the police kept bribing us because they knew that all their TV people were there, and I used to hide me in the boot and put loads of coats over me. And I was like not allowed to move. But I don't know if you remember we got in Transylvania. We got in the castle a shadow of a ghost, and it sort of came out of the, well, it was a figure that came out of the wall and just kind of disappeared. And it was Carl. I think one of the lads got it, one of the security men, and they put that on the show. So if you look back, you might be able to find that. And it was amazing to see that. But yeah, I was a bit sick of eating beetroot a lot of beetroot.
Any
Beetroot with
particular
ice cream.
reason that you had beetroot?
I just ate a lot of beetroot there. I don't know. It was just, yeah.
It's a thing over there.
It was, yeah. But you see, they all stayed in a crappy hotel. But because I was with the, the big stars, I was in the 3-star, which was like, really, really. I was so grateful for that. I really was. Definitely. You didn't have to slum it.
What's the worst place you've stayed in?
The worst.
Yeah.
Oh, we stayed. I can't remember the name of the hotel. It's probably best not to. But yeah, we ended up sleeping with all our clothes on in this hotel. It was disgusting. It was like the bed was horrible. It was near Alton Towers, and we did Alton Towers. And me, Yvette and I stayed overnight because we were doing the Screaming Banshees. But yeah, it was that bad that that Yvette went and we complained, and she was, especially in the morning, you didn't want to cross her in the morning when she'd had no sleep. We didn't have to pay. I think it was something like that. And then, I'll tell you another one. We were working at Caesar's Palace, and at Fred Batts, and we'd been out doing the filming. And when we got back, somebody had moved all our things. They'd overbooked the place, and my room would swap with somebody else. They put me with someone else. This is the staff, and then they put Richard Felix with another one. So and Yvette's mum was there, and when we got back in the middle of the night, and Yvette's mum went and put the key in the door, and there was a naked man sat at the end of the bed. I'm like,
You got lucky then.
I didn't get that lucky. Oh, I just had to share with someone else. So yeah, that's some funny hotels. Yeah.
I think Lee asked. There you go.
Yeah.
What advice would you give a new ghost hunter?
Oh my gosh, no. I mean, staying awake is the best thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It helps us to stay awake. I don't know. I think when you first start, when you look at the early most haunters, when you first start doing it and you see little lights and you get so excited, don't you? I think we've got the technology now has just gone amazing. The things you can buy. But yeah, get as much as equipment as you can, and and I think do it with people that are not going to mess, because we were all thinking, is she pushing that glass? Is he pushing it? You know that you're all in it for the same reason. That's a good advice.
Yeah, I always say you've got to be with people that you really trust, especially if you're doing Ouija board or automatic handwriting. You got to really trust the people, not to push.
Yeah, because you don't know, do you? But
no.
Yeah. And I always did the thing that put your fingers upside down, and so it's going to move because so your fingers are like that way kind of. I don't know. Is it? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I suppose
we've all felt it, haven't we? When you can feel somebody's pushing it.
Yeah, and don't you? If it's like that's that was
just
definitely...
don't feel right.
Yeah.
What did you think to the automatic handwriting we did the other night?
Yeah. Oh, did that? I might have just
with the pen.
Oh yes, yeah. The planchette with the planchette.
Yeah.
And I think as well. I think when you do the tricking of the lights as well can often see things, can't you? I think just listen to people as well. But I like doing the planchette. That's if you get some good stuff off that, it's really it is good. It's good evidence.
Did you get anything off that? Because I've not really spoken to you since Abbey House.
We did.
What did you get?
We got a name. We got that he was Irish. He had a family. We didn't get where he lived while he was there because we all started giggling because we said the caravan. So
he did die there, didn't he?
Yeah, he said he died there.
Yeah.
but it was really interesting. It was a bit slow to start off with, and you
Yeah.
could feel it trying
It was cold,
to move.
wasn't it, at first? Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, and I got
once
lost.
he got going, we got quite a bit. I think Laura videoed it. But then we moved in with the fridge kicked off, didn't it? And so we moved into the.
So you were in the kitchen then?
We were near the kitchen. We just
Yeah.
pulled one of the tables out in one of the dining, that L bit.
Yeah.
The dining table.
Yeah,
we
the
got
lights
that
kept
out.
going off, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But we were all seeing things in that kitchen while we was doing that.
Yeah.
So we set up. Laura set a phone up to video, and we went then into the other room. That's when we got that. Like, it was weird. It wasn't quite a cough, but it wasn't a growl neither. But I got that on video on EVP as well.
Yeah,
So
right. You looked at that. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Andrew's saying the kitchen was a very good place. I think they got a few bits in there as well.
We didn't get anything when we was in there.
Sometimes it's got to build up, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. But we did when we was out of there, if you know what I mean.
See, don't they say that most people die at like between the hours of like 2, or is it 12 and 4 or something, and that's when that's what I've been told. That's when most of the activity or you get most activity. I don't know if that's true, but yes, but you have to be there for a while, don't you?
Yeah.
So I'm taking my coat off. Ooh.
Do you like using old school equipment like dowsing rods, says Lindsay?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think I do. I remember Richard Felix bringing them and showing us how to use them. Yeah, because they're intriguing, really, aren't they? To do with the ley lines and the water and all that. Yeah, I think everything interests me. I'm not very good with technology, so I'm quite good with the old stuff.
We've got a team member who names our technology, haven't we, Jason?
We have, yes.
Yes.
Eric.
Yeah, I don't know half of them.
I've got a REM pod she called Eric, which we stuck a little name on.
Then, isn't it?
I've got my Joe Bot.
You've got your Joe Bot. But yeah, we've got a few names for things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Jason doesn't approve, do you?
No.
Yeah, again.
It's just frozen.
Yeah, I thought.
Paul says, hello again. I have a question for Paul. What are you doing? I thought you were coming on tonight. What's your thoughts on using pets as equipment on investigations?
Oh, I don't know. We've done a couple of ones where we've used the dog cam, and he's done a big poo in the middle of the live show. It was disgusting. It smelled disgusting. I think some. I mean, animals are sensitive, aren't they? So yes, you've got a good one. But I tell you what, we did have when, I don't know if anybody remembers when we were in Wales. I can't remember, Denby, and we were doing a live, and somebody had got under the tunnels, and these were real people, and they had the security men with the dogs, and I was amazed. I mean, this is not paranormal. Well, it might be. I don't know. But they were dressed. It was Halloween, and they were dressed as Batman and Robin and somebody else. And they got under these tunnels that came from the city. But they didn't know about these tunnels because they wasn't on the plans, because it was where the asylum was. And they got in, and they were carrying nails that were spiked. So they were going to throw them at us. And they saw them on the cameras, and so we had to run. And the security, there was 500 people in the audience, and basically he says, the security guard with the dogs said, "Everybody stand still." And we stood with the audience, didn't move, and the dog ran around the audience and went right behind the stage and got Batman and Robin. There's 2 more ran off. I don't know what they were. So. Yeah, we didn't have the dogs on that show. We wouldn't have, but they pulled us off air. One of them ran and pulled the plug, so we went off air. So, I think,
See, Denby's a place that a lot of people would love to go, and of course, we can't anymore because you just can't get in, can you? Yeah.
Well, no, there was a fire after we were there. The whole place set on fire, as well as another place, Italy. The castle. After we'd been there, it set on fire. and burned down. And then there was like 4 places, and it was like, oh God, it was a bit worrying. I don't know if it was, I don't know. So yeah, but Denby was a bit strange, because as you drove in it, you could feel the oldness of it, which added to the to the atmosphere of the place. Because there was quite a lot of asylums that were closed, and then obviously the people just let out into the the town, and there's still live there. And so it was interesting. It was an interesting place.
I think we'll see Lee's comment again.
What did you say?
Did you not hear me? Oh God!
I remember watching Most Haunted with my mum years ago, and right after Yvette asked if anyone was there, my dad farted in the toilet. It was hilarious. Sorry, Dad.
What? I farted in the toilet?
No, Dad. She's embarrassing her dad.
He doesn't do embarrassing. I'll be embarrassed for him.
Lindsay's saying, what is your thoughts on alleged haunted objects, dolls? That's one of our favourite subjects, isn't it?
Yes,
haunted objects.
Getting on the dolls.
I don't know, they're creepy. They just give off they make, because they're ugly and strange looking, they give you off a horrible feeling, don't they? So I think a lot of the mind has a lot of, plays with you as well, doesn't it? So if something looks scary, it's going to give that energy off, you know what I mean? But I do think that things have attachments, I do think that, like we use marbles and things like that, don't, and I think using objects is good.
There's a bit of a theme now, isn't there, for people to make the dolls look as creepy as possible instead of just having a doll. It's like they've got
a
yeah.
Well, I don't know. They might do. Who knows what goes on in the dark?
Yeah.
But they do make them look incredibly creepy these days, and you kind of think, as like, if they use them as trigger objects and things, they're not something that you think somebody might be drawn to.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, I always think, like, when you put them down and cover them with flour, I thought that was good to make sure it didn't move. So it's good.
So we had a good reaction to one of mine when I took it at the emergency services, didn't we?
Action
and I didn't know that it wasn't the Action Man. Jason had told Lee to put it in a pocket and not tell me. And was it automatic handwriting?
It was both, wasn't it? It was
and it came through, didn't she? Yeah. And he said someone brought something with him, and I'm like,
wow.
And then
it was in a pocket, wasn't it?
It was in a pocket, yeah. It was this one. She's at the side of me. Can we get her in?
Yeah.
Is this one?
Oh. See, that's scary, that all them round you. I want to go to bed with one of them, would you?
I've got 4 on this side of me and about 15 over there.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
I do like the Ukala dolls, the art dolls. I've got 2 and I really love them. They are creepy looking, but I think they're just the work that goes into them. I think's amazing. They don't have attachments. At least I don't think they do, but I think the artwork in them is fantastic.
I'll have to have a look at them. You'll have to show me.
You'll have to come round. We'll have a.
Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah. Gosh, it's warm.
It started off cold today, and then it got really warm as the day went on.
It did.
Yeah, I'm not at home. I'm just, my friend's in hospital, so this is where I am. I'm in the toilet, so that's why. I'm burning myself with a radiator.
I hope it's a clean toilet.
There, so. Trying to look as glamorous as I can, but I'm sweating.
Wow.
So what's the tunnels that we're doing? Because you can come to them as well, can't you?
Williamson Tunnel.
Williamson Tunnel, that's it.
Oh yeah. Sounds interesting. The tunnels, yeah.
Is that the 19?
Tunnels? I can't remember. I've been to that many places. I normally remember what food we had for tea when we go to these places, because I had some nice chicken butties where I went on Saturday. I can't hardly remember where we've been. So many places. I think I've done every castle in England, Scotland, and Wales.
Well, this leads me on to a question. If you were to pick your top 5 most haunted moments or most haunted locations, what would be on top of your list?
The locations, as in the scariest ones.
Well, I suppose you could have two lists there. You could have your scariest or just the ones that you really liked.
Well, I mean, I really liked when we went to New York. I mean, New York, and then we went to Hollywood. I was in El Paso. We went to Holland. I enjoyed, and Ireland was always my favourite because not just the scariest places, which they were, but there was absolutely the nicest people that you could ever meet. I had a great time in Ireland. Never felt so welcomed. Transylvania, there's a lot of places. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but other things take over. You know, it's an experience that you have, isn't it? And I'd have to.
Sometimes it's just the history and the where you are. It doesn't have to be the haunting or whatever happens, does it?
Yeah, because if nothing happens, is it? You know, and sometimes it's rubbish. But there's just so many. You know, Alton Towers, and then there's loads of places. I'd have to sit and look at the list and say, oh yeah, I remember that.
What about your scariest then?
That was definitely Pendle, definitely. Yeah, definitely Pendle Hill was.
And what would be the second most scariest?
The second most scariest was Transylvania.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm thinking, Jason, you should be taking note. We should be planning like trips abroad next.
Yeah, I think we should. Definitely Transylvania.
Yeah.
And then I went to Queen Mary.
Get it on your list.
Yeah.
I mean, we did the Queen Mary. I had to go over because I had issues trying to get my visa, and it was a pain in the backside. But I finally got one, and I ended up going over on my own. I had to stay in that bloody place on my own with them. We did The Shining. That was good. You know, The Shining Hotel. Absolutely loads. But I do tell you, it's a funny story about Leslie. When we got to the Stanley Hotel, the altitude made you feel really sick. It was really. I can't remember who we had with us, but anyway, we went, and Leslie. I think we'd been traveling elsewhere, and Leslie. I'd come down into reception, and Leslie was on the phone, and I heard them say, "No, Mrs. Smith, there won't be any mountain lions getting into your room." I was like, "Mountain lion? He's on the fifth floor or something like that." What? Oh God, she was hilarious. We did, and then another time we was. This is funny. I don't know if I'm at. This is part of the question. I can't remember what you asked me now, but. And me and Leslie we was in Washington, and we went for a massage, and I looked over, and they were standing on her back, and she was going, "Mercy, mercy." Leslie was one of my favourites. We had such a good time. It was so funny. Mrs. Smith, oh God. Yeah, I do miss Leslie. Fucking brilliant she was.
Phantom Seekers Paranormal say Queen Mary is fab, only been on it to eat, sadly.
Oh yeah, but we have breakfast every morning. That bloody music, the same thing. Oh, don't say it under the apple tree. All I heard every morning. But yeah, it's scary. And we went down into the bows of the ship. It was an eerie place, and to be there on my own for a couple of weeks before Yvette came was a bit weird.
So did you spend quite a long time on there? Like, because a couple of weeks, most of us only get like a night or whatever in the location to spend quite a period of time.
2 weeks before, then we did about 3 weeks on the Queen Mary. I'd nearly lost the plot by the time I was coming home. Oh, it was, yeah. God, see, jogging my memory really about what happened. You know, it's hard to, you forget, don't you?
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Lee's asking, are you still in touch with anyone from Most Haunted?
I do, yeah. David, I got with David sometimes, and yeah, I got busy with the salon, so they carried on doing it, you know. But I don't see much of him now. I don't. But I miss it. You move on, don't you? Mm. I speak to Yvette now and again. Yeah.
Well, you can always come out with us.
Yeah.
Pardon?
You can always come out with us.
I am coming. That's me. I'm signed on.
We need a few more from Stockport.
Yeah, we do.
We need to come over here. We'll have to find some other places. Definitely.
And I'm sure Liam, when he reappears, he'll probably invite you up to Scotland.
Yeah.
He will,
yes,
he will.
definitely. Definitely.
So have you received any gifts from fans? And if you have, what is your weirdest gift you've ever received?
Right, okay. So when we did Kerrang, we used to do it was a different subject every week, and they were vampires. We was talking about vampires this time, and as we left the studio at 1 o'clock in the morning, there was a guy dressed as a vampire with teeth, and he handed Yvette a box of chocolates and me a box of chocolates, and she denied because he had real vampire teeth, and he went in to give her a kiss, and she kind of backed off. But I got 2 boxes of chocolates that night. But yeah, I've had it. I've had usually. I once said I used to like those Milky Way stars. I used to get loads of them, which I didn't mind. Yeah, there's odd mirrors, things like that. Yeah, odd things. Can't remember now.
No, chocolate's always good.
Of course
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. We need chocolate for energy, don't we? Halfway through.
Yeah,
the night.
without a doubt.
Yeah. It was donuts, wasn't it, the other night?
Oh God, yeah. Oh, I'm on midnight feast, definitely.
And I provided cake, didn't I, on Saturday?
Oh yeah,
did?
that was
Yeah.
nice. Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that went fast.
It did, especially our carrot cake. What is the best piece of evidence you've ever seen or heard or whatever?
I'd say that I did see we were in the Gladstone Mill, and I had Richard Felix, and I had a camera like I'm holding the phone now, and it was pitch black, and Richard's behind me, and as I was walking, I'm trying to find my way, and as I looked down, I saw a man stood at 10 to 2. And he was wearing a long dark clothes, and as I looked up and went to get Richard, he'd gone. But what we used to do is when anybody found, because can you imagine there was hours and hours of rushes of the tapes of what what was happening, of the evidence. So if anything particularly stood out, we would say this happened at 10 o'clock, whatever. Yeah. And the girl said, oh my gosh, that is on the evidence, that has been reported in whatever. Because when we did pieces to camera, they were all the same. There was always like a white lady and stuff like that. So I used to get Yvette ready, watching the camera, and really didn't listen to what she was saying. I was just making sure she looked all right. So, even if it was said in that, in the pieces to camera, I never knew what was what, because after about the 900 show, you kind of there's always headless horsemen and white ladies and things like that. So yeah. Oh gosh.
Can your children still be around you after they have passed? It's been 18 and a half years after she passed, and her baby's toys keep playing music in the spare bedroom. That's asked by Kerry.
I think so.
I think, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I do. Guys, I'm going to have to go because the doctor's coming round to see my friend before. Sorry. Would that be okay?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that okay? All right. I'm going. I will just hang on 1 second. Right, sorry. Right, I'm good. I will have to go in 1 sec. Sorry.
It's all right. Don't worry.
Well, thank you for squeezing into the toilet and coming on.
I know,
Yeah.
it's
The most unusual interview ever.
So, can you let me know when the next one is?
Yeah,
Will
yeah,
do.
I'll text you.
Thank you. I had a really, really good time, even though I did fall asleep in the dark. When you go in the dark, and I had a great way of falling asleep and looking like I was awake when I did Ouija boards and stuff. But promise I really want to come on the next one. Definitely.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We'll see you in Liverpool then.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Brilliant.
Well, I'll pick you up and stop
Definitely.
up. I'll text you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Nice
Thank
to meet
you.
everybody.
Thanks, Kath.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye.
How do I turn this off? What do I do?
I don't know.
Just turn it
There
off?
should be an option to leave, I think.
I don't know. So if
They should
you
right
come
in the
the
middle.
if you come in the hospital ward with me now, and you might, I don't. Okay. All right then. Bye, guys.
Oh, Liam
Alright.
might be able to take you out if Liam's still listening.
Right. I'd like somebody to take me out. Okay, I don't know to do it.
There we go.
All right, this is it.
I'll take you out.
Night.
Bye, Cath.
Bye, Cath.
Bye.
Bye. Well, I don't think we can top
that
that for
lovely.
interview locations.
I know.
Yeah, that's got to be a first.
That's dedication, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
At least you came on. Yeah.
Yeah.
that was absolutely fascinating. I loved that. I was sitting here chuckling away to myself. Some great stories there.
Yeah.
We'll get her back on when it's better for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think a friend was rushed in hospital. She's been phoning me all day, but I was in work, so I don't have my phone on me. She's got loads of missed calls. But she was determined to do it, which is good. She said, "Can I do it from the hospital?" I was like, "We can postpone it," but no, I'll do it. But yeah, no, it's amazing.
That was absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
She's
got so many stories, hasn't she?
Yeah.
It needs a part 2.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, definitely
A part 2. Yeah.
And you were out with her. You guys were out with her on Saturday investigating.
We were, yes. We were at Abbey House Museum with her.
Yeah.
She came and she did really well. She was very tired because she'd been moving house.
She's had a.
She just slotted straight in and she was off. She was having a tour and stuff and just getting stuck in.
And Michael got a little starstruck, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did.
She got lost going for a drink of water.
Yeah, she got lost every time. Ended up back in the pub, so I was just like,
she did, didn't she?
I finally found a better paranormal group.
That's nice.
You guys.
Oh, Kerry. Yeah, she did keep ending up in that pub, didn't she?
She did. The pub, you can't miss the pub, I suppose.
At least she didn't fall over the carriage like I did when I got there. I nearly kicked it over.
The guys are more sort of fun to do with. I see them regular. They come to the Abbey all the time, so yeah, they're all really nice when they arrive. So yeah.
Well, we've done one with Most Haunted, didn't we? We did Eden Camp.
So she went in on Andy's investigation. Lee, and she's so short. I did warn everyone, she's tiny. She is really, really tiny.
Yeah, when you walk across the road, I was like, who's that kid that brought with him?
I thought I was small, but she makes me feel tall.
I was like, oh, hello.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah,
she's,
right, she's tiny, isn't she? Yeah.
She's like a little dot, isn't she?
Yeah. Sat chair, she just all curled up in chair like that.
I know. It was when we was in the is it the monk room at the top?
The Abbot's room.
Yeah, the Abbot's room. And we all kind of stopped and went, "Did you hear something then?" It was Cath snoring. She dozed off.
Oh, brilliant. Oh.
Yeah, it won't be as comfortable at Williamson Tunnels.
It's always the short ones you've got to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, it was James saying, "Look under tables, look under chairs. She'll be under one." She just walks under them.
So what were you going to say there, Liam?
I was just going to say, what's up next for you guys? Where are you allowed to tell us where you're heading next?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to this one, but they're going to Williamson Tunnels in Liverpool, which we did about 4-5 years ago.
4 years ago, I think it was.
4 years ago, and it was okay, but they've opened more of it up now, so we decided that we're going to go back and explore the rest of it. It's not a bad place. We went a bit unprepared last time because we didn't know what to. I was going like it was Drakelow tunnels.
Well, we
where
went to the wrong tunnels, didn't we, to start with? Let's face it. There's different parts of it. So the Williamson tunnels was built by this chap way back, and nobody really knows why he just built these tunnels. So the thought is that perhaps he was just employing like people to give them work and labour so that he could pay them. So they're a bit of a mystery location, aren't they? But there's different parts of it open. So when we first went, we went to the wrong part, the expensive part. And then there's the Friends of Williamson Tunnels, which is the bit that we're going to. But when we went, there was just the one section, but there's 2 parts to it now. So we're going to get to see both. So there's at least this bit that we haven't been to.
Yeah.
They were featured in a Doctor Who story.
Were they?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I'm sure that character appeared in Doctor Who recently in the tunnels, and it was aliens. That was the reason for the tunnel. Aliens.
Well, we'll see if we pick up any strange languages.
Yeah. Well, I won't be there, so fill me in.
It's all right. Joanne's the queen of EVPs at the moment. She'll pick it up.
Yeah.
I've just bought. Ian's not here. I've just bought a new EVP recorder off eBay.
Yeah.
No one was bidding on it, and I waited to the last minute and put a bid in for £5 and got it.
Right.
I've still got to give you your posh one.
The dreaded Zoom.
Yes.
I'm going to start using that because I paid all that money for it and I don't like it.
The question is, where is Williamson Tunnels in Liverpool? I've got to Google it now.
It's it's somewhere Liverpool. It's underground.
Well, as I say, there's 2 bits of it. One's got like some kind of bar or something attached to it, hasn't it? Which is where we ended up. And then the other's, I'm sure it's next to some kind of the university halls. That's what I remember.
I remember some block of flats where toilets were.
Well, don't talk to me about the toilets at Williamson Tunnels. Scarred for life. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is it Old Stable Yard, Heritage Centre, Smithdown Lane, it says. So yeah, it's kind of near the university halls. That's all I really remember because it is quite a few years since we last went. I just remember John with his he ran off with your SLS camera.
Yeah.
Wouldn't let anyone else play with it.
Yep.
Oh, there's a story to tell. You probably don't want to know. I mean, it was. I literally came out of that experience and went, "Do you know what's just happened to me?" And most people probably won't want to know what happened to me.
I think you should tell people.
We do.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
all right. Put it this way: there was a lady, and she was on our team who I won't name, and she didn't like to go to the toilet by herself. So, the toilet with her. And it was just because like the toilets were literally like this little one thing. It's almost like a cleaning cupboard. There was a toilet in there, so obviously for staff. So we go in there, and she decides that she's not just gonna nip to the loo. She's gonna have a bit of an extended stay. But she didn't tell me this, so I'm there, and I just heard it all. And I was literally, I came out and we're like, and I'd not been with the team very long at this point, so I were a bit like, what the hell? And yeah, I was a little bit. I got in the car. Sam will remember this. I got in the car and I said to Sam, "You'll never guess what I've just experienced." Bit of an extended stay was the politest way I could put it. But I heard it all.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
There's not many people that feel comfortable that I won't feel comfortable just taking some random person into the toilet and just letting loose, but she wasn't bothered. So yeah, the things you experience on Paranormal Investigation, and I'm still here.
Yeah. The living definitely are more scary than the dead. Yeah. Definitely.
There's totally some kind of mental scars there, I have to say. It's not from anything like supernatural. I can remember it clear as day.
So can I. Remember you telling us?
Yeah, well, when you experience something like that, you have to tell everybody because you're like, you can't quite believe it, so you just got to share that experience, haven't you? If you've experienced it, you've got to share it.
I would.
Yeah. 100%.
I don't think
now
men
everybody
can
knows.
bother, do they?
Yeah. I hope she's not watching.
I don't know. Would you guys take somebody to the toilet and just
No.
you know
No.
make free? No, I wouldn't
No.
either.
No.
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 Stop licking your feet.
Yeah.
No dear.
So what are you up to, Liam? I've seen that you've got Castle Fraser. Is it Castle Fraser?
Yeah, we're looking forward to doing that one. So we're doing Castle Fraser, which actually Cath's been to because Most Haunted have done it in the past.
Mhm.
So we're actually doing that one as a fundraiser for us, which is a kind of a first for us, which is we're really looking forward to. So we've got that one coming up. We have got one we've just done actually, which I know, Jason, the Titanic. So I didn't know
Look
that
at
this
this.
building had so many connections with the Titanic. So we visited for the second time a property on the west coast of Scotland called Poole House. It's an old plan hunting lodge. It's been a luxury hotel. It was a Royal Navy base in World War II when Churchill stayed there. More importantly, Kate Winslet stayed there. But it's now open for tours. However, the folk that own it actually were related to two people that were on the Titanic. One being the captain himself, and I think the other one was actually a stoker.
Let's go.
I was going to say, Jason's going to want an invite now.
Let's go.
To expand on the story here a bit, there's a lot of Titanic memorabilia in the house. And there's one room in particular in the house where there's always been quite extreme activity. When it was a hotel, they actually stopped using it because people were basically being woken up in the middle of the night by the sound of people outside in the corridor, running around, shouting, panic. When they get up, go to the door and open it, nothing, go back to bed. They then start hearing things moving about, banging about, loud bangs as if furniture's being moved about, the bed moves. And so they stopped using it. Actually, at one point, one poor gentleman, he'd actually he'd ran out and he fell down the stairs in a rush and actually passed away a couple of weeks later. So the room wasn't being used. And then a few weeks ago on a tour, there was a gentleman there who was quite spiritually open himself. And he said, I think you've got children here. You've definitely got some children here. And there's a couple of dolls on the bed. And one day they actually came in a couple of weeks ago and the doll had been taken off the bed and was lying on the floor with its boots off. And the boots don't fall off, you have to pull them off. So
I thought you were going to say in a puddle of water then.
Yeah, but wait, I'm not finished yet.
All
so
right,
this gentleman had a daughter who was very psychically open. She wasn't there. She's actually bedridden. And she thinks that she's bedridden. Her gift is to be able to, is the kind of gift of mediumship. And he sent her just a couple of photographs. At that point, there was no mention of the Titanic or anything like that. And she basically came back and said, basically what's going on in that room is that because you've got these links to the Titanic, you've also got the dolls in the room and that you've actually got children coming through from the Titanic. And the noises you're hearing, and she didn't know the story, the noises that you're getting, she says people in that bed will hear people running in the corridors. They'll hear furniture moving. They'll see the bed moving and banging and all that. What you're getting is the recurringness of what happened on the night on the Titanic.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty amazing stuff. And we actually did on the ghost box. I know a lot of folk are not keen on them, but we actually picked up a child's voice in the ghost box when we were in that room as well. So yeah, really fascinating. So looking forward to going back there again as well.
So we will be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're more than welcome. And I'm quite sure if you ever make it up this neck of the woods, we can certainly arrange time for you guys, definitely for that. And then we've got Inverary Jail again, which I know you guys have been to.
Yeah.
We're going back.
See, we need to go back there because Joanne, you've not been there, have you?
No, I've not been.
It's a great location. So, but having said that, we're nearly booked up, aren't we, for next year? We've booked most of our locations.
We can
now.
fit in the Titanic one quite easily. We'll fit that in.
As long as it's at the end of the year.
That's fine.
We booked the boat yet? Ship?
No, not yet, because the boat's too expensive. We've got to raise funds for the boat unless we all want to dig very deep in our pockets.
We need a loan.
Hello.
Hello, Andrew.
Hello.
Someone said morning. Who said morning? What time is it there?
Wow.
It's Mark from Paranormal New Zealand.
Wow.
Mark's in Auckland.
Wow.
Good friend of ours. I'm looking forward to investigating with Mark later in the year, actually. He's coming back over. And yeah, if anyone wants to visit Pool House, there you go. They're on Facebook. So well worth a look. It's 7:30 a.m. in New Zealand.
That's early.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bedtime here.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, lots happening, and we have been approached about the possibility of doing a Paracon type event in the Highlands next year.
Cool.
So we will be knocking on your door, guys. If that.
Our illustrious leader could probably do a little talk for you.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, or maybe you.
Yeah. Anna can do a talk on the Leeds Library Ghost. Yeah.
Oh, Joanne on the Action Man, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Wild experiments.
Well, apparently when you go on holiday,
Mm.
when you go on holiday, your daughter's going to find Action Man for us.
She won't.
She might take him on holiday though. If he's that good.
I hate
taking
taking
behind.
Can you imagine getting stopped at security and what's this? Wow.
I just can't go anywhere without him. Well, yeah.
I don't have an Action Man. You should share paranormal experience. Mine's got to be the old Nick, where there was only two of us that heard that massive big boom, and you two were downstairs, and I can't believe you didn't hear it.
Well, we did look at every door in that place down at the bottom, and the only one that could have done it was the superintendent's
It
door.
was that was the exact noise, because I was fast asleep, and that shook because I was laying on my belly. So I felt the vibration from the floor because it was wooden floors, wasn't it, in the theatre?
Yeah.
Woke me up, and it was just so loud. I don't know. I just can't get my head round why there was only two of us that heard it.
Yeah, because we were in the yard.
You was in the yard.
We were
literally just down the corridor from it. You should have heard it.
Yeah.
But you see, mine was always the old Nick, and that's because I heard something similar, but not in the same location as you, because I was down in the female cells being all cocky. I mean, I've told this story before, but it was very similar to what you experienced. It was a really loud bang. Sam heard it because he was near where I was, not that I knew at the time, but everybody else didn't hear it.
Yeah, it's just bizarre, because it was so loud. It was like a cannon going off. Yeah. It was just... and then when you start questioning yourself, because I'm like, when I went into the bar room where all the girls were sleeping, and I was like, it's got to be one of them, and they were all snoring like a fella. It's all embarrassing now. and it was only when I turned round to come out, because you was down the bottom end, that I realised that you weren't there. So that's why I come down looking for you. And when you was outside, I was like, did you hear that? And there was just no way that you could not have not heard it.
No.
And I just couldn't get my head around. It's only when Chris woke up that he said he was woken up by it.
Yeah.
And he was literally that over the top of you, basically, wasn't he? Because you was just outside his window downstairs.
And
it woke him up as well. It was just
we did not hear it at all.
It was just... I still can't get my head around it.
Interesting location, that one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What about you, Liam?
It's hard to pick one, isn't it? I've been thinking about it just now. I think one of the most impressive ones and it's the only time I've really smelt anything. I've seen things, heard voices, that's maybe all the time, but it was the smell of decay. and I'll never forget that smell. It was absolutely horrid, and it was only there for a couple of seconds and it was gone. And the investigator beside me, she smelt it, and she worked in a vet at the time, and she said, know exactly what that is. That's death. That's the smell of decay. Two guys that were behind us never got it at all. We were convinced we would find something dead lying under a bush or whatever. We didn't. So that one's always going to stick with me for that reason. I've never had it since. But yeah, definitely that. What about you, Jason?
It's got to be Sunderland for me. You know, every time we go every year now. But every time we go, we get something. But I think it was the second visit. We had a solid metal door slam on us, which was impossible to move on its own. It had a brick in front of it as well, so I have no idea why that moved. But seeing the on the trams, he actually let us go on. He's got these trams in there which he can't normally go on, but he let us go on this time. And I was on there, and I remember seeing the gentleman with the blue cap and the blue jacket stood outside, but it was just his top half of his body. It just disappeared in front of my eyes, so that was like the best experience I saw. But then the following time we went, we were all in the base room, and we all saw on CCTV a bomber pilot with a cap and the yellow whatever life jacket thing just walked straight past on CCTV. So every time you go there, we've had compasses spinning on their own. We've had things thrown at us. It's just an unreal place.
And you get a lot when Keith's around, don't you?
You do, yeah. Because he works there, doesn't he? So he talks. Well, he's always talking, and as soon as they come in, he comes in. It just the activity just rises. It just picks up straight away.
Well, Lee got that soldier, didn't she?
Yeah.
In the main hangar, she got it on video.
Yeah, it's why we're going back again this year. It just always delivers,
And then we got the man on the corner that kept going outside, and we
with your torches and you're outside.
The shadow and back and forth.
Yeah, he kept sort of like sneaking in and out.
He was stood there and he was standing back and forth near the was it the Vulcan, near the aircraft. Yeah.
And then we got the rounds, didn't we?
I remember you showing me the compass video.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. It was
It's just he walks in and he'll go. There's a dog over there, and you'll go where, and he'll get a picture out. This was here last week, and he showed you a picture, and he's got a picture of a dog, an Alsatian dog or something. He's just like, how is this possible? And it's the amount of photos. I remember he telling me that they had a van in there, an American van, and they had to put like boards in front of the windows because so many people were taking pictures of an American soldier leaning out the window that were getting scared, so they had to block the windows up. It's just mental up there. But yeah, one of my favourite places. This is where we're going back in September, is it? October?
Yes. I think it's September, I think.
Yep. And it's never warm. It always either snows or rains up there, but we still go back.
But there's hangars, so at least we're not... Well, there is the outside part, because that's the thing. You saw the stuff outside, so it's not just what's in the hangars. It's outside of the hangars as well.
Yeah. Air bases in general seem to have a good reputation for being haunted. I think there's a few up this way as well. We haven't investigated one ourselves, but I know other folk that have and have experienced things. But that we actually went out and bought a compass after, because it's not something we carry, but we now carry a compass in our kit.
So do I, and I've not had the same level of luck with it that I had that time with the.
We have only once, Anna. We actually asked for the compass we ask all the time, but on one occasion it did start moving by itself.
I remember he had a compass inside one of the in the glass cases where this wreckage of this bomber was. They put a compass in there, and we were just stood outside the glass and saying, if you're near that wreckage, can you move the compass? And it was just spinning. So it's just mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about it is like I say, I bought a compass to see if I could replicate it, because the logic being that it's something quite easily, like it's low tech, isn't it? It's something recognisable to people from various periods. It's quite a simple bit of kit, and it's a traditional piece of ghost hunting kit as well. But I every time I have got mine out, I have had no results with it apart from that time when we were at the at Nelson.
Yeah.
We'll try again when we go back. You just never know.
Yeah.
Be interesting to try it again with Keith and then without Keith, or that other way around. Because it's so fascinating that it obviously responds to him. And it's well, that and the familiarity like we've had before when we've been like places, and you refer to things like, do you recognize me, like we had at the library that time, Joanne, and it's like, if you're familiar, then you're likely to get a little bit more response.
Yeah, because we got loads the first time we did it when Jason had gone next door. Yeah. We got loads, didn't we?
That's the best experience I've had there, kit wise. And we've done that a few times. Yeah. So get rid of it.
Yeah, we kind of have a theory that you build up trust over time if you're going back to a location. And again, we ask the question, do you remember us? Often, and we often get responses. So we
was getting loads before we did the event though, weren't we? The equipment was going off constantly. The motion detectors got on your nerves, didn't they? They were going off that much.
It's the minute the people turned up.
Yeah, it was once there's a massive big crowd, it tends to go really, really. It seems very shy, doesn't it?
Yeah. But then I've always said that about the library. Yeah. The larger the group, the less you're going to get.
Yeah, because there was the 4 or 5 of us once Jason had gone.
There were
proper 5,
I think. Yeah. But we were the only ones in the building.
Yeah, we were, weren't we? And we were getting loads, and even the Ovulus.
Well, it was going off, wasn't it? And that rare thing where you get the cat balls going off in succession. Yeah. And like, as we know, there's people that dispute the whole cat ball thing at the moment, and we can be cynical about them because usually you might get one going off, but when you have them going off in succession around the gallery, like
and we swapped them about, didn't we, as well, in case it was a faulty one, because it was just the one, and it just carried on, didn't it, with the new one?
You just don't usually get that in succession. You'll just get one flashing and you'll get a bit excited, but
then it was all once everything we was asking. Can you go to this and set it off? Yeah. And then I said, do you want to come downstairs and sit with us? You can sit on that green chair, and then green came through on the Ovulus, didn't it? So it was always related.
And then they rodeoed through, didn't you, and ruined it and went, can you come and let us in? Damn it.
Yeah, we're like, no, you can stay outside for another half an hour.
You've ruined it now.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was getting loads, wasn't we? It was really good.
We'll have to do that again without people around.
Yeah.
Damn people, right? Yeah, I think you're right though. The smaller the group, the better, and also people who are really up for it. If the energy's good in a room, it makes a huge difference. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I know that when we do public stuff, if you get a group who are not really up for it, it tends to be a bit of a flat time that you have. Compared to if you've got a group who are really up for it and the energy in the room is right. So definitely. And it's good to see that you're challenging the old cat balls, and I think it's very easy to poo cat balls. And yes, the experiments have been done. Yep, totally agree. That they can operate in that way. But when you're getting intelligent responses like you guys were getting, come on, science, explain it.
Well, like I say, you get one going off, you can dismiss that. If one's going off, we've all done it, you swap it out and then it doesn't go off again. So you think, well, whatever. But if you're getting multiple ones going off in that same location, on that same thing, that becomes, as we say, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Alistair saying going to regular location, you can also learn what can trigger a reaction. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because different equipment works in different places. What you got really good response in one place, you go to another location and it's pants, isn't it? It don't work. You get all excited, I'm going to do this, and it just doesn't work. Yeah, something else will work there. Yeah. It's trial and error, so it's all.
But then if we're working on the principle that it might be a person, then different people are going to have different affinities with different things, aren't they? Yeah. And it's like us. We've all got different interests. We've all got different things that we might be more drawn to. Yeah. We're not all just going to go, right, I'm going to go with that because you've got it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we've said before, and I think you kind of touched on it earlier on, I think you know, if you're talking to somebody who's 200-300 years old in theory, something like a K2 meter, they're going to be terrified of.
Yeah.
This is going to be the devil's work. So, you know, you're talking old school equipment.
Old school.
Flashy lights, beepy noises.
Yeah. Can you imagine? You know.
Yeah. So it's fascinating. It's fascinating. It's great actually listening to you guys and some of the comments that come in from other folk who've investigated, and we're all tying in the same kind of theories to these things. We're all experiencing the same things. So you know, I think we're going somewhere in the right direction, I think, hopefully.
While still experimenting every time.
Well, it's all an experiment. But up here, we're certainly going to carry on using cat balls. We were late to the table when it comes to cat balls, but you know, I mean, I can't get over, as I said, Inverary Jail last time. We were summing up the end of the night. We had cat balls placed all over the courtroom, and I basically turned around and said, right, they hadn't gone off the whole 20 minutes, half an hour we were in there. And I said, this is your last chance to do something for us. You need to do it now. We're finishing up. And the cat ball went off. Nobody near it. You know, so I can't explain.
And we, of course, had similar with the cat balls going off, didn't we? And then we heard the tread on the stairs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, in Veneri. Yeah, we heard the footsteps, didn't we?
So it wasn't just the cat ball had gone off. We actually heard the creak of the wood on somebody coming down the stairs.
Yeah.
So
absolutely brilliant.
As I'd been sent to the other side of the room, you go sit over there, Anna. Damn you.
Well, we have kind of gone over a little.
Yeah,
but it's been a good chat, and thanks again to Cath who came on and you know, had to rush off, but we'll definitely get her back on. And it does sound like she's going to be coming out with you guys. That'll be cool as well. But it was fascinating listening to her tonight and her stories, and thanks to everybody who has contributed tonight. It's been a good one, and we shall be back soon. But until then, take care, stay safe, and we will see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.